Hi, everybody. I'm Ann Murato with Modern Salon, and I'm so happy to be talking to you know her as at Hair by Amy B. And Amy is an educator. She's a Masters of Balayage ambassador. She's a lived-in color specialist, brunettes, blonding. She educates for other brands. She's a Modern Salon Artist Connective member, and she lives in Colorado. She's taking time out of her day to talk to me about a Instagram post that Amy put up and we reshared, and it's having so much resonance and impact in the community. Right, we were just looking at it. It's up to like 12,300 likes, and the comments keep flooding in. And what Amy did is she took the trend of creating a highlights reel. Instead, it's being sort of turned on its head. She created a lowlights reel. So I want to ask Amy some questions, talk to her about these individual thoughts and the feedback she's getting from them. So first of all, Amy,
Yes.
thank you
Hi.
so much. Hi.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you could do this with me because as I said, we just posted it, yesterday, and I want to
Mhm.
just jump on the conversation. So tell me, first of all, kind of where you were at in your head when you even put this together and made it live.
I honestly, I mean, Instagram's just, like the post said, it's a highlight reel. Instagram's a highlight reel. And I just kind of got sick of it. And I was like, the conversations I was having with other stylists in person just was not what we see online. And so I don't know, I saw like just a couple of other similar posts on, other platforms, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot and show what it really is like as a stylist and in our heads. And yeah,
Were you surprised by the reaction?
I was completely blown away. I'm still blown away. This is the first post. I mean, I've been on Instagram since 2016, and I've had other posts um, go viral in the sense where they just get a lot of likes, but I've never ever had a post that had so many comments that I literally can't keep up. I mean, I feel so honored. Like I'll reply on a comment and I'll, refresh my page and there's 10 more in its place. I can't keep up with them, and that's never happened. So I'm just completely shocked. I feel really honored that I could apparently put a voice to what a lot of other stylists were thinking that I didn't know other people were thinking. And I just am very honored to be a part of something that helps other stylists to know that they're not alone in feeling those things. And it was good for me to know that I don't feel alone in those things, because I really didn't think it was going to get any response. I kind of thought it was going to be a flop, to be honest.
No, I think you really tapped into something, and it's like you said, on Instagram. We see the highlights, but it wasn't the truth of the conversations you were maybe having one-on-one with fellow stylists. I wanted to, if it's okay with you, this is what I was thinking, is I would just go through, you put up about it's a carousel of about
Mhm,
9 different comments. So
mhm.
the first one was you're genuinely worried about the what supplies are costing right now and
Yeah.
restocking. And I did see a comment because like you, I'm like going through the comments because it's fascinating to see what people are saying. But people saying yes, and clients are complaining that their service is too expensive, but on the back end, right, everything we have to provide for that service has gone up.
Yes.
So this is a conversation you're having with other stylists?
Yes. I mean, it's just insane. So I used to go to the supply store and I could get out of there $200 if if I had a big haul. It'd be maybe $300 at most, and it would last me most of the month. And now I go probably every week and a half, and I can't get out of there for under $500 or $600. And it's just, I mean, everything. The price of foils has doubled. The price of the liners has doubled. Everything feels like it's doubled. And it's tough because the last price increase, and this is my own fault, but the last price increase I had was in 2021. And I did a pretty significant price increase. And then, inflation started getting to be a thing. And I felt like I couldn't raise my prices because everybody was struggling. And So it's just taking that big hit on the back end of how everything is so expensive and trying to figure out, okay, well, how much would I have to raise my price to compensate for that? And it's just like astronomical, and clients are already stressed about how much it costs to get their hair done. So it just kind of feels like you can't win. You either go broke yourself or you upset your clients. And that's definitely something I'm trying to balance out.
The other one was the this industry's beauty standards are intense. It's hard knowing that I don't fit the mold, wondering if I'll still be taken seriously and seen as enough. So this was interesting to me in that, as I cover the beauty industry, I'll go into a room of hairstylists and I'll feel like the one who is just like not keeping up because I feel like hairstylists show up with everything's on point. Perfect brows, perfect hair, perfect makeup. It was a surprise to me that you might, or other hairstylists might feel that same struggle.
I mean, honestly, you're right. A lot of hairstylists do. And that's, I think, why I feel that way because I can't. I mean, I am a mom of four boys. They're all fairly young. I work full time and I just don't fit that mold. And that can be a really big struggle and a hit on mental health and self-confidence to see all the stylists that are dressed to the nines and, naturally beautiful. And feeling a little bit less than. That's always kind of hard. And, I've definitely experienced, I get anxiety if I have somebody coming in that's never met me before. And like, oh gosh, I hope that they think I'm up to par. And like, the coworkers who are younger and more trendier and dress all cute compared to me, I can feel pretty frumpy sometimes. And then, like, I even had a client one time. She didn't mean any harm by it. She's a doll, but I had added an extra schedule to my, or I'd added an extra day to my schedule, and I was telling her that I was gonna try to take a few new clients for the first time in a handful of years, and I was kind of excited. And she's like, "Oh, well, I'll go ahead and tell some of my friends." But to be honest, there's another stylist in my area. There's a few other stylists in my area that do lived in color, but there's one that's kind of active on social media more than the others. And they go, but she said, yeah, so they go to. I'll call her Kinsey. That's not her name, but they're like, yeah, I'll tell my friends about your availability, but they go to Kinsey because she's really young and cute and trendy, so they're gonna go to her. And I was like, cool. Like, I didn't really know what to say to that, but it was almost kind of like validating in a bad way. Like, okay, well, that's literally what I'm afraid of is that I won't be taken seriously, or I might lose client opportunities, or whatever opportunities, because I don't fit the mold of this beauty industry.
I often worry about the long-term effects on my body and health of spending 4 to 5 days surrounded by bleach and chemicals, standing on my feet and putting constant wear and tear on my hands and shoulders. How long have you been doing hair?
I got licensed in 2006 and I took a little bit of a break off and on for the next handful of years. So probably a total of about 10 to 12 years or so. But yeah, I think that,
Continue doing what you love without that
yeah,
looming and hanging over your head. Um, I
for
love
sure.
I love being a hairstylist, but I really don't enjoy having to record everything while I work. My priority is always giving my guests my full attention and the best experience possible, not stressing over camera angles.
Hmm.
This, I'm sure, again, so many people can relate to that fatigue of feeling like you can't just be there in the moment with your client.
Hmm.
Uh, you need to be capturing what you're doing with your client as well. How how do you manage that?
I've been thinking about trying to see if I can hire somebody to do the filming for me. It's exhausting. I just want to get through it and give my client my undivided attention, but I'm like, oh, hold on, I need to record this. And then you set up your camera, and it's like, okay, well, let me make sure that the angle is where it needs to be for the shot. And it just feels like you waste so much time trying to film the content. And I feel like it can take away from the guest experience if you're not really subtle about it. So that can be a challenge. But it's necessary. It really is. I mean, when I took a break from social media for a while, sometimes I'll go really hard on social media, and then sometimes I need to back off. And you feel the difference. Like when I'm going full throttle on social media, I'm getting new client requests. I'm getting, stuff with brands, which is wonderful. And but then the second that you take your foot off the gas, like they start dropping off. And so it's like, okay, well, if I want these opportunities to come, I have to get back to posting. It's like I didn't sign up to be a social media guru. Like I just want to do hair, but you literally have to do both if you want to get client opportunities and any other opportunities that might come your way. So it's a double-edged sword. 'Cause, like I'm really honored to be able to do it. I love parts of it where I can, well, like this, like encourage other people and let people know that they're not alone. Like this wouldn't have happened if I hadn't have posted something. So I'm grateful for the opportunities it brings, but it's exhausting. It adds a lot of time onto the service and it just adds a lot of extra stress because you're essentially doing two jobs instead of just the one that you signed up for.
Do you see other people, other stylists figuring it out in a way that you kind of admire? Or do you hear people using, like you said, you might hire somebody or um, use, I mean, is there anybody that you talk to who says, Amy, this is how you do it. I have it dialed in.
No, everybody that I talk to struggles the same thing. I mean, unless you work in a busy salon where the salon has hired an assistant that can help with filming, that's great. But I don't. I've worked in a salon suite by myself for the last 6 years. And then I just stepped into my new salon at the beginning of the year, but it's only me and another girl, and we're both busy all the time. So I can't really go and record for her, and she can't really come and record for me. And she struggles with the same thing. She tries to do Instagram also, but I mean, it's hard to try to film at the same time that you're trying to work. So
Yeah.
unless you work with a lot of coworkers or an assistant and you just have a lot of extra hands, it's really tough to try to wear all those hats by yourself.
Absolutely. Um, if I don't meet the high standard I set for myself on a client, it takes me days to mentally recover, and I spend a lot of time questioning if I'm even in the right profession.
Yes.
And I think, it's this could be lifted out and applied to so many professions. I think this is
Mm-hmm.
a universal fear, concern, insecurity. I mean, I think everyone can experience imposter syndrome, no matter what profession they're in. But um, as you rightly say, you set this very high standard for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're a mom with 4 kids.
Yes.
What if your boys were beating up on themselves? What would you tell them?
Oh, you're right. And that's the funny thing. Like if you're outside of yourself, you can say all the encouraging things to somebody and mean it. You say like, you're only human, you're gonna mess up. It's not that bad. You're wonderful. Like you can say all those things and you fully believe that they're true when you're saying them to somebody else. So I don't know why we do that to ourselves, but I mean, I could do something and like it's not even bad. Like the client's not even complaining, but if I'm looking at something and I'm like, there should have been one more foil right there, or that pickup should have been a little bit thicker, or I should have toned that half a level lighter, or dark, whatever it is. Like I'm just like, why do I even do this? I shouldn't even be in this job. I suck. So I don't know why we do that to ourselves. Because you're right. I mean, if one of my little ones came up to me and they were criticizing a picture they made, I was like, this is the best picture I've ever seen. What are you talking about? So I don't know why we do that to ourselves, but it's real,
It's
and
very real.
it's not fun.
No, no. And that's why I say this could be lifted out and have, resonance across so many different professions. This one, I really saw so many comments related to it, and it's about clients. I know my clients don't belong to me. They're free to come and go, and I genuinely appreciate every moment they choose to spend in my chair, but it's always surprising how fragile the client-stylist relationship can be. You can build bonds over years, and sometimes they'll just disappear without a word.
Yeah.
Now, I I think this is so interesting because there's always been this discussion too around um, oh, my clients are my family. I live and die for my clients. Your clients are your clients. They are your guests for the day.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this everyone works differently. Everyone has a different relationship with their clients. But what are you hearing people say about this one? Because this seemed to really, really elicit a lot of feedback.
Yeah, this is a tough one because as a professional, like it's part of the job. And we know that. I mean, I guess I can only speak for myself. I know that. I know that it's part of the job. I don't think that I own any client. They're free to come and go whenever they want for whatever reason. And professionally, I know that they're my clients and not my friends. And like you know that up here, but like you spend hours and hours with these people and you bond and you connect and you're with them through their marriages and their pregnancies and harder stuff like divorces or miscarriages, and you're with them through big life events. And I mean, you think that you're like this, and then all of a sudden they vanish, and sometimes they'll tell you why, sometimes they won't, and it's really hard on the heart. Like, people can say all they want. Oh, well, it's just part of the job. Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean it doesn't sting. And it was very, it doesn't mean it doesn't sting because, like, you just want to know why. Like, was it something that I did on their head? Was it something that I said? Was it a price point? And no matter what the reason was, like, why in the world wouldn't they have just said something? Did I tone them a way that they didn't like? Why wouldn't they just tell me? That's an easy fix. Was it my prices? Why don't they just let me know? Like, I'm usually happy to work within somebody's budget or come up with a plan. It's just the absolute ghosting after, you're so bonded with this person, and it's just like it's just a reminder of, no, you're really just a client, even though you feel like you're family. So that's tough. And it was validating. It's kind of a weird feeling because it's validating to know that I'm not alone in feeling that way, and so many other stylists feel that way. But I also feel bad that everybody else feels that way too. I don't want everybody else to be so hurt by it in the same way that I am, but it is validating to know that I'm not the only one that gets their feelings hurt when I get ghosted, and you sometimes don't know why.
Yeah. And you'd like the chance, just the learning opportunity. Like you said, if it was something about a service or a color, they would be doing you a favor if they would tell you, because maybe
Yeah,
it's something you did go you would say, "Oh, yeah, you're right. I would love the opportunity to do
yeah,
that differently or a do-over."
yeah. And you just don't know. I mean, maybe, and you're like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't the hair. Maybe, did I say something?
Mm,
I mean, I really have no idea. You just, and then you just kind of, if you're an overthinker like me, it just leaves you spinning, and you just go through all these things, probably making it worse than it even is. And it's like, if they would just let me know, I could either fix it, or at least, and maybe they don't have a reason. Maybe they just want to change. That's fine, but let me know that so I'm not trying to pin it on myself.
right. And
So,
you being an overthinker,
mhm.
I mean, again, let's just raise our hands about let me overthink this.
Yes.
I I'm just so grateful that you were willing to kind of elaborate on this, because you made yourself so vulnerable in the post, but I do believe that you've done such a great service, by allowing a space for people to talk about it, for people to connect with each other, to connect with you. And I'm just so grateful that you took time to talk to me about it. And I just want to say, Amy, same, same. I mean,
You're not alone.
we're not alone. There's so many things. And it's obvious this is you're not spending your day, with your head down, and I mean, you have a beautiful career. You have a beautiful life. You do beautiful work.
Thank
But
you.
uh, you know, there's always that side of everybody that, wants to be heard and have our insecurities sort of echoed in somebody else. So
Yeah, for
um
sure.
so thank you for taking the time. And don't go away. I'm going to stop the recording, but I want to say a proper goodbye. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody.
Thank you.